Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. This is Stitches with Love. My name is Elizabeth, and today I'm going to talk about project bags and why I love and use the ones I have. So if you're interested, grab a cup of something cozy, grab your knitting if you'd like, and let's get started, shall we? Alrighty, so this morning I am just drinking plain black coffee. It's very boring. It's whatever the big economic can is at the Kroger, and I like just plain black coffee. And this cup, I've actually had it for a few months now, but it makes me smile every time I use it. But it says, "Please don't straighten out the mess on my desk. You'll confuse me and screw up my whole world." And I just thought it was so comical. I bought this at the secondhand shop where I work, and I'm very much enjoying my little collection of coffee cups. Each one has a story behind it. Some of them really sentimental, some of them not so much. This one is not super sentimental, it just makes me smile. And I think that a cup of something cozy is always far more enjoyable when it's in a cup that you really love. Now, today is a beautiful, sunshiny, kind of cool, autumny morning. The forecast said it's going to be kind of a warm day, I think in the 80s, which doesn't really scream autumn vibes to me, but that's okay. I'm going to enjoy the sunshine for as long as we have it. So, project bags. I have a lot of project bags for a couple of reasons. Number one, I always have so many things on the needles at a time. I do not just knit one or two projects at a time, finish them, and then start something new. For me, that's just boring and not as enjoyable as having something going on at any one time. And I like to have projects that are both simple and mindless and a little more interesting and challenging because despite whatever is going on in my life, whatever season I'm in, I think it's important to have something that kind of matches whatever you have going on. So if I have a really busy week where I have extra appointments, or maybe work is really busy, or there's something going on besides just being at home and managing things here, I like to have something simple like a sock or maybe a hat that's very mindless, very simple, that I don't have to think about. If I have kind of a slower season, or if I know I'm going to be home a little more, maybe I'm taking some vacation time, whatever it is, then I like to have something a little more challenging, something I have to think a little more about, maybe a cabled sweater or a shawl, something like that. So that's part of the reason why I have so many knitting bags. The other reason I have multiple knitting project bags is because I like different sizes. Now, if you're new to knitting, or you're looking for a way to kind of change things up a little bit in your knitting, there are some things that I do recommend you have in your toolkit, if you will. And a good project bag is one of those. I do plan to do another video on what I consider knitting essentials, but we're not going to do that today. Today we're just focusing on project bags. So if you're looking for a project bag for your knitting, I recommend at least 2 sizes. This will kind of depend on what you like to knit. If you're knitting socks or a scarf or a hat or something small, you really are not going to need anything big and roomy. So I have a couple of these drawstring bags. This one actually was made by my mother-in-law. Julie, if you're watching, I still use this bag and I love it. And this has plenty of room for my finished sock, for my yarn, my needles, It's got plenty of room if I wanted to put a little notions pouch in there. And it cinches up really nicely. I can pop this in my purse. If I'm traveling, I can put it in my suitcase. I take it in the car with me. Very compact. So you can get a drawstring bag like this. Or if you know somebody who sews, like my mother-in-law sews, you can ask them, would you make something for me? Or you can arrange some sort of trade. Maybe offer to knit them something if they will sew you something. It's worth a try. If you're really close to the person, it might work. If you don't ever speak to one another, then you might just offer to pay them instead or go a different route entirely. My other favorite project bag to use are these these zippered pouches. And these are plenty roomy enough, again, for a sock. This one has some leg warmers in it from my niece. I really like having something with a clear window simply because I can see at a glance what project is in here. This one, same thing, plenty of room for my knitting. I've got a hat going on in here right now. There's room to fold up my pattern and keep that in here. I keep extra needles in here. My bag of notions. And then, of course, you know, my yarn and my project. And everything fits in that small pouch very easily. And again, I can put this in my bag and be on my way. I also like this because it stands up on its own and it keeps everything contained. If I need it to be a little bit shorter, maybe to more easily access my project, I can roll it down like this. And it has a really convenient little handle, so I can just throw it over my wrist and I can knit while I walk, or I can just carry this if I need to keep my hands free for something. So those are my favorite types of knitting pouches for small projects like my socks. Because I knit mostly socks, I have several of these smaller project bags. My other favorite thing to use, I have a couple variations of these, is this. I know I've showed before. This is actually just a toiletries kit, toiletries bag that I bought on Amazon. And it's plenty roomy enough for my socks. It's got pouches on either side. I can keep my patterns, my notions, and again, same thing. It doesn't take up very much room. I can carry it very easily. It doesn't weigh very much. And then I have this little guy that I bought at a rummage sale for like $1. And I just find that this size and shape are perfect for sock knitting because you don't need much room, just enough for your yarn, your project, and then something small enough that you can throw into your bag when you're on the go, or if you're traveling, put it in your suitcase, or, you know, tuck next to your car seat or something. When my husband and I are traveling, or really when we're going anywhere, he drives. It's not that I dislike driving. I mean, I do, but when we're traveling, he prefers to be the one driving. And so something like this, I can just set next to me or set it on my lap and do my thing. So for small projects, those are my favorite kinds of bags to use. If I'm doing something a little bit bigger, just a second, let me go grab my other one. If I'm doing something bigger, I like to have a medium size and a larger size. Now, this is kind of enormous. You do not need something this size if all you're wanting to do is socks or hats or something small. But I have found that this is a great size for sweaters or right now I'm using it for my scrap blankets. So all of my scraps get rolled up and tossed into here, but there's room for my pattern right here. There's room for the blanket that I'm making right here. And then all of the yarn that I am wanting to use just gets thrown. Everything is so tangled right now. Just gets tossed right into this bag. Perfect size for larger projects. So if you're just getting started on knitting, I would recommend you have a couple different size bags simply to accommodate whatever your project is going to be. This is more of a medium-sized bag. Right now, this has my Suki shawl in it, which is very nearly done. I'll be really glad to have it off the needles. I'm anxious to start my next one, but you know, you can see it's a small-ish project. It's still pretty portable, but it's not going to fit in something this size. It's just not. So a medium-sized bag is perfect for, I think, sweaters, shawls, that kind of thing. I wouldn't use it for a blanket just because there's not enough room. My go-to bag for my larger projects like my sweaters or blankets is something more like a tote bag. This is what is this even? This is from 31 Bags, if I remember correctly. It's got a pocket on the back. You can put your phone in it. The zipper pocket on the inside, which is where I tend to put my notions, and then a couple of other pockets. And then I also have their little zippered pouch that I keep in here. I always keep this pouch with this bag because I find it is the perfect... Oh no! We're going to take a quick break so I can fix my camera. Okay, I'm not really sure what happened there. I think maybe something got set down on the cord and it toppled everything over. But anyway, I like this little zipper pouch because it's the perfect size to hold my extra cable needle, or excuse me, my extra circular needles and all of the notions that I'm going to need for my project. And I keep the same notions in here, and I keep this bag with this tote along with my project, my yarn, pattern, everything I'm going to need. It's very roomy. Now, I have to say, a bit of a disclaimer, that 31 Bags unfortunately is no longer in business. But if you know somebody that maybe at one point sold those products, you might reach out to them and see if they have anything. They have wonderful things, and they're all really great for knitting projects. I've had this bag for a few years now. I have a couple of others by them, and I've not been disappointed by any of it. My other go-to for my knitting is just a plain canvas bag. I have a few of these in different sizes, but again, they're great for larger projects. This one is currently holding a sweater that I'm making, but they're really durable, sturdy bags because they are made of canvas. So I have this one I actually recently won at Bunko. I talked about that a few episodes ago. I went to Bunko with a friend of mine from work, and this was what my prize at the end of the night came in, and it makes a fantastic knitting bag. Now, if you're going to be like I am with your knitting and have multiple projects, multiple bags, you're going to need some way to keep them all together and organized. You can use a tote, you can use a basket, you can shove everything into a larger bag. I really love using this basket, which I've had for a long time, but it is the perfect size and shape to hold all of my knitting bags when they're empty and not in use. I just put them all in here, and then when I need something, I know right where to find it. The last thing I want to share with you is Notion bags. And I have several of these, but I'm just going to show you a couple of different things that I have used over the years, that I continue to use simply because they work so well. So this is just a cheap pencil pouch. I bought it several years ago at Fred Meyer, and it's the perfect size for holding double pointed needles, all of your notions. You can stick a couple pens in there to take notes, and it doesn't take up any room in your bag. I also like small makeup pouches like this. This is also a 31 bag. But again, it's just big enough. You can hold extra circular needles, all of your knitting notions, and it doesn't take up any room. You just throw it in your bag and you always have something that you need. And then this I got off of Amazon. This actually I bought in a 3-pack, but again, it's just a simple pencil pouch, but I can keep my extra circulars and double pointed needles and all of my notions right in there. This one is also canvas and lined, and so I don't really worry about my needles poking through. It's just the right size. Some pouches aren't quite long enough for double pointed needles. This one is. And then this one, where did I get this one from? I think maybe this one came off of, not Etsy. I think this is from Hypnotic Yarns, where I have my Yarnable subscription from. And this one did come with I don't think it's in here though. I don't see it. It did come with a little coordinating stitch marker, but something like this, like a little coin purse, where again, you can just put all of your knitting notions and put it in your bag and always have it on the go. So those are all of the, and baskets. Baskets are always a really good option too. Different sizes and shapes. I love having baskets for larger projects, like if I'm doing a sweater or maybe a blanket or something like that. I just love the look. I think they're aesthetically very beautiful. That's all I've got today. I'm not sure which of these knitting projects I'm going to work on today. I'm getting ready to take the little guys off to school, and then I've got a busy day ahead and then a busy week. So I don't know how much knitting I'm actually going to get done, but we'll see. Until next time, have a wonderful day, happy knitting, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.